All right, Big Ten championship game to wrap it up for this edition of Hitting the Books. Indiana, Ohio State. This is, of course, in Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium, as it always is, home of the Indianapolis Colts for the Big Ten championship. Ohio State, 5.5-point favorites, 48.5 the total here in this game. Ohio State has been, the eye test tells you they're great, both sides of the ball. You've got Julian Sayin, you've got Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, two big-time weapons at receiver. You've got the best defense, it looks like, from what we've seen all season in the country. And Matt Patricia, we've talked about this before. We've given him a lot of slings and arrows in the years in the past. Whether especially in his NFL tour of duty, especially with the Lions as a head coach, where it just was a disaster there. But we got to give him his flowers when he's doing coaching well. Just like we criticize when he's not doing well, got to give him, props and homage when he is coaching well. And he's done a phenomenal job with this defense. There's no denying that whatsoever. This has been a dominant defense. All the numbers bear that out for Ohio State this season. So it's certainly not going to be easy for Indiana to move the football either on the ground or through the air. You're talking about a team that's first in the country in yards per play allowed, 3.8, which is incredible. 3.8 yards per play. It's all they've allowed Ohio State's defense. Third in the country in rushing yards per game allowed, 2.8 yards per carry allowed, sixth in the country. Passing yards per game allowed, 121.3. I think what's impressive about the secondary and only giving up 121 passing yards per game first in the country is the fact a lot of teams have been trailing Ohio State late in games. They have to be throwing the football a lot. And still, you're giving up just 121 passing yards per game. Especially when Ohio State's been leading big in every game in the second half. And yet these teams still can't, put up passing yards against this Ohio State secondary. So, but I keep coming back to it with Ohio State. While everything looks phenomenal, it's not an easy team to bet against. The schedule. You have to go all the way back, really, to Texas, first week of the season, to find a truly impressive victory that Ohio State's had against anybody worth a damn. Is that Texas game? Maybe the Washington game's kind of nice looking, with
decent,
decent win there. Penn State was supposed to be a big win, but they've had a disappointing season, obviously. And then there's nothing else on the schedule that says, wow, what a great win. Michigan hasn't been anywhere close to where they've been in the past. So there's that element of, we haven't exactly been facing a murderer's row schedule, and when they haven't. That's the bottom line here. So then you have to factor in, is Indiana ready to step up, ready to compete? And, their schedule is pretty damn weak too. But you could make a really good argument that the single best win in the regular season for either of these two teams was when Indiana went to Eugene, Oregon, and beat Oregon on the road outright. That's pretty damn impressive, considering what we've seen here from Oregon throughout the course of the season.
Impressive. That game was 2020. They kind of dominated the last 6 minutes. They got a touchdown and a field goal during that game.
No doubt. Yeah, fourth quarter. It was, and what's amazing about that game? It was 20-13 Indiana. They controlled the flow. Roman Hemby, was able to do enough running the football. Mendoza was very, very solid with 215 through the air. They had the lead. But then Mendoza throws a pick six to tie the game 20-20 early in the fourth quarter, and he rebounds. He goes right down the field after that, finds Elijah Surratt, the great receiver for Indiana, to take the lead 27-20, and then they add to it with the field goal. I want to take Indiana here, quite honestly. If you're Ohio State, you finally beat Michigan last week. That's been a fucking thorn in your side for a couple of years now, that you haven't been able to beat Michigan. And you remember last year when they made that run to the national championship game and winning the title. They came off that Michigan game. They had like a team meeting, Ryan Day and the players and Will Howard, who was the quarterback last year. And it was almost like a coming to Jesus moment for Ohio State. We got to get our shit together. We got to put that Michigan loss behind us. Everything is still in front of us, because at the time when they lost to Michigan last year, everyone was saying, oh, this team stinks. They're not going to do anything in the playoff. Losing to Michigan again, same old Ohio State. And then they galvanized together as a team, and they went on that big-time run where they destroyed Oregon in the Rose Bowl. They went on that run in the playoff, and they won the championship. and just, they got hot in the playoffs and won every game and won the title. This year, it's different. They finally beat Michigan, ultra satisfying after the Wolverines had beaten them multiple years in a row. Is this kind of look, and they're already in the playoff. To make no mistake about it, this is not a big deal if Ohio State loses this game at all. Neither of these teams really, because Ohio State's in the playoff and still, one of the top seeds. If they probably still get a bye, to the quarterfinal, even if they lose this game, Ohio State. I think for Indiana, there's a little extra incentive for them here because Indiana's never won a Big Ten championship. So this is like history making for Curt Cignetti, Fernando Mendoza, and everyone on this Indiana Hoosiers team if they win this Big Ten championship game. Ohio State will want to win the game, but they won't lose sleep if they lose it. For Indiana, I think there's that extra. This is a chance for us to make some fucking Indiana Hoosiers football history, guys. Let's try to take the advantage of it. I'm leaning to the Hoosiers here with the points. C-Mac, what do you think here? Big Ten.
I think if you like Indiana, I'd take them early. Just because off the big win with Ohio State.
Good point.
At times, this is the best defense. These are two of the best
second half team too, especially the
very good.
Weeks. Let's keep that in mind. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it all year. This is the best defense in the country. When I look at this game, what I want to bet on is the under. The first half under, 24.5. There's a little bit juice, just 23.5. Minus 104. So the 24.5, you can get right around probably minus 120. I got to look for it. I'm going to lean on that. These defenses. Also, Indiana's team total, I see a bunch of 20.5. I don't know. I want the 21.5. If it's just been money. Even with Michigan, they score it's just the second half, they shut it down. It's just the strength of schedule. People got to love Ohio State too. Just rolling ATS. Man, this is a team that just not only the numbers have been covered this year. This is definitely will be the best offense they've seen. Can they do anything with it? Mendoza, I like him. He can make some mistakes. I think he does. In this game, the Oregon win, like you talked about, was huge. I mean, Indiana's defense, I think, is for real as well. You go through these numbers; these teams are at the top of everything. Like you just kind of like turnover, and you go through all the stats defensively. That's what leads me to the under. It's just, I think this could be just a rock fight that could be difficult to see points and a good one. Could this be a good one? Ohio State has consistently beat the living shit out of Indiana year in and year out. Remember last year, of course, Indiana a lot better, the crazy year that they have. And I think they lose 38-15, right?
Yep.
That game?
Yep.
So, big brother, little brother, a little bit.
I think you convinced me to go first half full game split if I take Indiana. At least split it between first half and full game because I remember last year in that 38
first quarters,
Ohio State win. That was a 7-point game at halftime with Indiana and Ohio State in Columbus, and then it got away from Indiana in the second half. And Ohio State outscored them 24-8 in the second half of that game last year. So, yeah, I mean, I think Indiana's time, like I said, I think for Indiana, this is. By the way, because this game's in Indianapolis, obviously, look. Buckeye fans are going to travel. There's going to be tons of Ohio State fans in the crowd, but they're not going to dominate this stadium with their crowd like they have in the past because obviously this is an in-state game for the Hoosiers. So you're going to get the Hoosier faithful there at Lucas Oil Stadium with this being in Indianapolis, Indiana. So this is not going to be quite the same dominant home field edge that Ohio State often can have here in the Big Ten championship game. So keep that in mind as well. But yeah, very intriguing game.
I think early would be it.
Yeah.
If you like first quarter, first half, maybe just punch him in the mouth. Ohio State.
Yeah, should be good. Oh, excited to see. And yeah, I think Dram Yankee, whoever wins this game, probably is your Heisman Trophy winner. It feels like we're at the point now where it's down to Mendoza and Sayin for the Heisman. Certainly, if you believe in the odds board right now for the Heisman Trophy futures, they're the top two right now. Mendoza and Sayin. So it makes sense that whoever's going to win this Big Ten championship game is probably going to win it.
Yeah.
The winning quarterback. Yeah.
you might be right. I mean, both have been so good this year. Yeah.
Good game. Gus will be screaming his lungs out. That'll be tough to take, but other than that, it'll be a fun watch on Saturday because it is on Fox with Klatt and Gusser on Saturday. All right, good stuff. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. That's a wrap for this edition of the show. We will be back. Date to be announced. We're either going to be on next Monday or the following Monday with our first bowl preview show.
Following Monday.
Probably the following Monday. Yeah, to the 15th.
Yeah, no show tomorrow. Next week, no show.
Okay, that's good. That's fine. Yeah, we'll do Monday, December 15 and Monday, December 22 with our two bowl preview shows, as well as the playoff games as well. So, like I said, we're excited about it.